feeling a little bit stagnant. So I get these clients and they do their one-on-ones, and then they'll have their follow-up, or sometimes they'll go into like a 3-month sort of, program that I sort of offer. But at that, I've sort of lost that sort of marketing, like, okay, so I've got these clients now, but then what?
Hi, I'm Charlyn, dietitian turned business and marketing coach, and you're listening to the Nutrition Business Show. Hello, welcome back to episode 63 on the Nutrition Business Show. Now, today I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of a hot seat coaching session with Anna Berry. She is a functional nutritionist and accredited health coach who helps women with their metabolic health, hormone balance, and perimenopause support. And right now, Anna's biggest challenge is struggling to grow her audience online, turning those leads into paying customers and learning how to package her expertise into an offer that truly stands out. So if you have been struggling to get seen online, you're struggling to turn those leads into paying customers, and you crave more consistency in your business income, then you are going to love this episode with Anna. So without further ado, let's dive into our conversation today. Hello, Anna. Thank you so much for being here on the Nutrition Business Show podcast. I'm so excited to have you on as a hot seat coachee. So why don't we start off with you introducing yourself?
Well, thank you so much, Charlyn, for having me. It's like an absolute honor to be here. So I would love to just, introduce myself. I'm Anna. I'm a functional nutritionist. I'm based in regional Australia in Victoria, and I am sort of in the process of building my business and how I want it to look in a few months' time, ideally.
And so just to give our listeners a bit of context, can you share how long you've been running your business for and who you help?
So basically, I have been all in on my business for the last year and a half. I have been sort of ebbing and flowing between my nutrition business and my, big international move. Long story short, we've moved continents from France to Australia. I've moved my family across. And so just really at the early stages, I guess, in the last sort of year and a half. But now I'm sort of all in, all focused. Now that I've sort of established a really grounding footprint now sort of in Australia, I'm ready to go all in. And my focus at the moment is sort of, perimenopause, mothers, optimal health, healthy aging is my ideal sort of focus at the moment. I love to use a lot of testing in my clients, from pathology to epigenetics to gut health testing, just to provide them with the overall results so that we can actually get them the blueprint that they require so that they can achieve the result, working towards whatever goal that may be.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's a much needed area just because, there is so much that goes on as we age. Imagine our bodies change.
Yeah, like that cognitive health. I want to be, as an older mother of 2, I had my children quite late. So I'm really conscious of being that healthy grandmother. Like, I really want to be vibrant if and when my kids may have children. I want to be there. I want to be hands-on. And I want to be able to have, good cognitive health, good mobility, and all of that. And I just think, this is the time now to do the work to achieve those results. And so, focusing on obviously diet and nutrition, but also getting the full, background of like how your genes can influence that moving forward as well.
And how are you working with clients at the moment, Anna? Are you seeing them one-on-one, or have you got digital products that you offer?
So I'm personally seeing clients one-on-one, both locally in my region and mostly 90% online. So a lot of my clients come via word of mouth. I have started doing a lot more collaboration, or I'm trying to do a lot more collaboration. I'm working with, say, for example, a local Pilates studio who are referring me, etc. Also working with affiliates, as in gut health testing companies and CGMs, that sort of thing that I've been, given clients from. But really, I'm at the process of now, I guess I'm feeling a little bit stagnant. So I get these clients and they do their one-on-ones, and then they'll have their follow-up, or sometimes they'll go into like a 3-month sort of, program that I sort of offer. But at that, I've sort of lost that sort of marketing, like, okay, so I've got these clients now, but then what? It's that next level. So I sort of feel like a little bit stagnant in that sense. Am I doing some digital offers? I've got a few resources. Look, nothing much. I've got a 2-week metabolic reset that's live on my website now. It's basically talking about just resetting your metabolic health, metabolic dysfunction, and sort of how sort of blood sugar can influence that. It's a resource that has like meal plans, that sort of thing. And it's sold a few things, but I haven't really marketed it. So I need to sort of step into that. And I guess I get a bit confused with all the marketing, and, you're always having to, work on that. I find as a small business owner, especially in this sort of, women's wellness, optimal health, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right. There is so much marketing advice out there, and there's so many directions that you can take this as well. And I guess, for us to really find a focus around what we want to discuss today, can you share with me, where do you see your business in 3 years, just 3 to 5 years, just so I can get an idea of where you want to head to help you understand, where to put your time? Because like you said earlier, your time is very limited. You've got 2 young girls and you look after them a lot because your hubby is away. So yeah, tell me a little bit about where you want to take things in the future.
I guess ideally, I would like to just have a consistent flow of clients in the sense of working with me, either in a group program. I'm sort of thinking perhaps that could be an option, or as a one-on-one, as in an optimal space. Like they're here for between a 3-month and a 5-month sort of working together to get, if you are doing all this testing, you need that time to get the results back to then build in some protocols. So I guess for me, ideally 3 or 5 years down the track, I would love to be having, working 20 hours a week, being there for my girls, which I am all the time anyways, but also knowing that I've got that 20 hours of work week, I've got that consistent revenue coming in, and I've got those consistent clients that I know exactly, who I'm seeing, who I'm working with, without having to sort of, play the catch up game, follow them up with emails, like booking in their clients. That I guess that one-on-one model for me is not really working, I guess, like consistently chasing clients. I find that kind of a lot of work, basically. So I'd like to just have that all sort of refined in the sense of, just have this one program that really works, that really focuses on helping women to achieve optimal health, so that they have all the knowledge, it all packed in, so that they can achieve those results and have that beautiful longevity, have that cognitive health, have all that, they're not carrying any excess weight, all of that extra stuff. They're like, just know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that you've got this vision in mind. And what I'm hearing from you is that you want structure in how you work with clients, and especially with the testing side of things. You said to me, optimally, you like to be working with them for about 3 to 5 months because there's testing involved, there's adjustments and all of that. So setting up the ideal container for your clients to come into is going to be something key to prioritize, because what we want is to kind of share with them what they need, because a lot of people know, okay, this is what I want, but they don't know how to get there. And that's why they come to you, right? And we would be best served serving our clients if we set up the correct structure for them. Because one-on-one is kind of what we're all used to and what our clients are used to. They go see a GP for an illness, or they get medication and they're fine, they go away. And if they are still not better, they'll come back. But there's no continuity of care. And that's why there's that care plan stuff going on. It gets people into multidisciplinary team approach. But what's key here for you to think about is setting up the structure for your clients so that they come in, they have an outcome in mind that they want to achieve. They know that you've got this structure. They see you a few times a month or whatsoever. And then they've got some sort of learning process that they have to go through, and testing as well. So there is the expectation up front of the commitment involved. So then this eliminates the need for you to constantly chase them up to go, hey, Jane, time for your next follow up. And then they might reschedule, fall sick, and then you got to get in touch with them again. So we are putting some responsibility onto the client as well, that this is the expectation. This is the environment that you're going to get the best results in, from my experience working with women in this space. And then, yeah, that's your program.
Yeah, it's that whole, I guess for me, it's that proactive healthcare approach from a nutritional perspective, from a functional nutritional perspective, not a reactive one. Like, we don't want the client to come from, that has that pre-diabetes diagnosis, that has that sort of referral from the GP going, like, this is what I've been given. I want to see clients who are proactive in achieving optimal health.
Yeah, that's it. So if we're looking at this structure here, let's talk about the offer a little bit.
Oh dear.
We're jumping right here because this will be something really important, to set up and market. And in order for us to do that, we need to have the ideal person to market this to. It's not for someone who is, say, for example, in their 20s, obviously, someone who's already thinking about it. They may have some symptoms and they want to take the steps to try and get that vitality, the energy, and all of these things. So tell me about this ideal person that would be the perfect fit for your program.
I guess that ideal client for me would be, I do enjoy working with females. I do find that, it's who I've been seeing. I guess it's that rapport that I do have, I have been seeing. I guess my ideal client would be someone who is possibly in that perimenopause stage. They're seeing those changes happening. They are full-time working as well as juggling a household. They've got to the stage of like, okay, I don't want to let my health slip. I need some help. How do I go about it? And, I've heard about perhaps, gut health testing. I've heard about, XYZ to optimize health. How do I go about, finding that person that's going to help me so that I can go through perimenopause, not have the excess weight, not have all those, hopefully those symptoms that, we see, in that sort of perimenopause, menopause state moving forward, so helping them to reduce that so that they can go through then to, healthy menopause stage to cognitive, to have all that lovely sort of, on the other side of things in regards to cognitive health, functional mobility, all of that sort of stuff. And being that ultimately, I guess for me as an older mother, a healthy grandma, with the kids in the future, I want to have all of that. I guess for me, sometimes I think that your ideal client is yourself who really wants to optimize their own health to their best,
Yeah. And they are someone who is very proactive. They're thinking in advance. Yeah. The thing with marketing is that we need to tell people what problem we're solving for them, and there needs to be a push for them to take action. Usually there's a trigger or something that's bothering them that's frustrating. So if we think about the problems that you can solve for them, what are they struggling with right now? Like, where's the headspace? What symptoms are they experiencing?
I guess right now their symptoms that the ideal client would see would be sort of possibly some brain fog, possibly some sore joints, possibly that bloating, that some foods aren't serving them like it used to. They're having perhaps that extra glass of wine and they're noticing that they can't function the next day, or that their cycles are starting to change a little bit, So I guess they're starting to switch on and they're starting to notice that thing, but they don't know what's this about. So I guess it's making them aware and giving them the tools perhaps, or the questions of like, oh, is this, or could this be, so that they could sort of sense a little bit of a trigger to, oh, perhaps I should do something about this, that little sort of light bulb moment.
Yeah, that's it. And they may or may not know about functional testing. So this is where, through our marketing on the front end, we want to meet them where they're at. So speak to their pain points, their frustration, the daily symptoms that they experience. And then once you have their attention, that's when we talk about, here are some things that you can do, some tests that I use. And earlier on, you used the term test, don't guess. And so this is key. A lot of women are cutting out a lot of foods thinking, oh, carbs are triggering me, when there are so many other potential triggers. And so the way I see how you can position yourself different to the rest of the perimenopause nutritionists out there, or dietitians, is that you have the background with functional testing. And so that is such a powerful tool in order for them to recognize what's really wrong with me. What are the root causes? Why am I feeling this way? And that's something to be very clear about in your marketing, so you stand out as someone who is different. You have that 1% competitive edge, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, you've probably hit the nail on the head in that sense. Like, I guess for me, when it comes to marketing and from a business point of view, I really struggle with putting myself out there in that arena. Like, there's, it's quite noisy out there. And I'm like, I do have this knowledge that I'd like to sort of implement. But I guess, learning how to structure that and learning how to deliver that, it would be, really powerful. I know that would be really powerful to so many people. It's just learning how to deliver it that would grab those sort of attentions of my ideal client moving forward.
People buy when they have clarity. They have clarity around the program or offer that you have that's going to help them solve their problem. And so pricing is one thing. A lot of people think, oh, I can't price it too expensive because they can't afford it. There's like interest rate hikes and all of those things. They think about all of these issues that could be stopping someone from buying. But from your end as a practitioner, there are still a lot of people out there who have got very good paying jobs. It's stable. They may have very low, amounts left on their loan to pay off or whatsoever. And they're willing to invest in someone to help them solve a very frustrating problem for them. It's no good waking up feeling sluggish and bloated and not like yourself, and a lot of women, they have kids and their bodies change. They may not like who they're seeing in the mirror. So there's a lot of things.
That pain point.
Yeah, exactly. And so the clearer you can get with your marketing, the better it is to reach the right person. Because I did have a look at your website and your Instagram before I came on. And don't laugh, it's fine, no judgment. I just think that the message clarity side of things can be improved. And that's where then the right person who lands on your site go, yep, she's exactly the person I'm searching for because she does all these things and things that she talks about. I experience them as well. I feel like she understands me. And that's what they need to be feeling in order for them to say yes to what you have to offer.
Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, it's just seeing that high, that mitigating all of those problems that may sort of be lurking in the background that possibly, as women, we actually sort of put it under the rug a little bit. Like, when really we should actually be dealing with this now. And I feel like there's so many of us out there that I'll just deal with that later. But really, like, having these sort of problems of brain fog and in a meeting and all of that, that's not okay. We can deal with that. We can learn to deal with that and mitigate that.
And a lot of people are using Band-Aid solutions, getting the day through energy drinks or caffeine, all of those things. And so this is where the education comes in through your free content, because a lot of people ask me what's the difference between my free content and my paid content. So on your marketing, your social media, if you have blogs on your website, this is where you need to educate your audience about the symptoms they're feeling. It's not normal. And these are things that we can test for. We can fix it with your nutrition. We can fix it by looking at your genetics. We can fix it by looking at your gut health. Here's where I can come in and help. So it's education on front end to increase their knowledge around things that can be done. You don't necessarily have to tell them how to fix it because that's where your paid stuff comes into play. So kind of jumping a little bit from your offer, which we kind of have talked about, where we need that structure, we then need to find the right people to come through. So you have your social media, you have your Instagram page where you can talk a lot about what your ideal clients struggle with and helping them see what they can do to fix it. Then the next thing is leading people down that path. So that's where a lead magnet comes in because then you're filtering those people. So if you think about your sales as a funnel, you have a lot of people coming through on the top. So you need to filter them as they come down. So the people who are your ideal client will then come from your page to go, oh yeah, this resource, I need to fix my brain fog. And Anna has a resource about that. They will download it and then you have your emails that will nurture them. It's like nurturing that relationship and then eventually ask for the sale. Yeah. So when it comes to selling, we also want to think about that funnel there to attract the right people.
No, definitely. And I think that's where I guess it's for me, it's a bit of time management in the sense as, like at the moment I have been focusing because the client that I have been seeing is more about weight loss. But in an ideal world, you went back to, that was one of the first questions, in an ideal world, 3 to 4, 5 years, like where do I see myself? And it's, it's optimal, optimal health, optimal testing, optimal healthy aging. It's, mitigating all of those problems that perhaps a woman of 35 plus can do now, to increase that lovely longevity.
So it sounds like we need to start saying no to some things in order to free up space for the right things to come.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And, Yeah, you're in a space where you've got such limited time to work on your business, and it's okay. We all have different seasons in life. And I work with clients who are new graduates, right up to people, dietitians, who are in their 50s and 60s, and the kids have grown up and left home. And so we all go through different seasons in life. And so our business needs to kind of fit into that as well. And the way to do it would be looking at, okay, for this season that I'm in, where I only have 3 hours or 5 hours to work on my business a day, what can I really focus on that will help me get to the goals that I want to achieve in 3 years' time? I may not want to have a 7-figure business in 7 years' time because that's not where my season allows me to achieve at this stage. But if I want to get consistent clients, then really I need to get in front of more people, work on the traffic source. And then the second thing is I'm getting more clients through consistency with conversion. So this is where I would put my attention now, rather than going, oh, I need to go create a low ticket offer. I need to go set this up. And, there is a lot that you can
I know.
do.
And
It's really just,
And sometimes I feel like, when you do create these sort of lower ticket sort of options, like, is it the right thing for me? Like, is it the right fit? The only thing that I see that a good point of, having a low ticket option is that have those leads, those email generations, you're getting that, getting them into your email list, etc., which I think is really good, because what happens if I lost social media tomorrow? Like, I don't have anything, at least I still have a bit of an email list. So for me, I guess my function would be, from a marketing point of view, would be, how do I grow that email list? Like, I guess, like you say, have that, probably revisit my lead magnet, to what we've been talking about today. And then, focusing on that and really like narrowing that sort of ideal client down.
the low ticket offer is basically how I do low ticket offers, is using the revenue that comes from the low ticket offer to offset the ad costs. Because we're not at the stage of running ads yet, it's not really going to be that important. At the end of the day, low ticket products are fun to create. It kind of meets people where they are at earlier part of the journey. They might be skeptical to invest in a bigger program. Yeah, that all sounds really good. I don't think it's a priority for you right now, unless you've got some money set aside for ad in the future. So yeah, you can scale to millions. A lot of people have built 7-figure businesses with low ticket products, but they're also putting a lot of money into ads. So that kind of offsets. So they're getting paid to grow the email list. But we don't even need that just yet, because first of all, we need to set up the funnel so that if you get people in, they're not leaking out, right? So we need to have the lead magnet. We need to make sure we have systems in place to automate those welcome emails, to have, a routine for you to go once a week or even once a fortnight if you haven't got time. I'm going to send my list an email to nurture them and then invite them to take the next step. So that is more important to set up than a low ticket offer for now. And for you to, and if you want to get to consistent income with a smaller audience, you want to focus on higher ticket offers. So that would be like a one-on-one program, but obviously we need to set up some structure around that so it's not going to be super time consuming for you. And then secondly, if you want to do a group program later, I would wait till you have a slightly bigger audience first, until you have your systems perfected, and even, having a hybrid program, so a course of some sort that you can include as part of your offering. Then I would run a group, because at the moment it's not so much of my books are full and I need to think about ways to scale to grow my income. Is more so, how can I get more clients? So we're solving like a different problem right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, being sort of rural, I'm not limited. Like, we have this online space, like there's no reason why we can't scale, from a high ticket point of view.
And if you have the right offer, I don't think you have a problem to get people. I have a client, you probably have heard me talk about her a lot. She's a rural dietitian. And her clients love her because she lives and breathes their lifestyle. They know she understands what it's like. She's married to a farmer. And so a lot of her clientele are in a very similar situation. And so I would also use this as one of your marketing stand-up point, the fact that you live in a rural region, access to food may not be as easy. It can be very expensive. And the fact that a lot of people are very busy, they've got, the farm to look after, or they've got lots of things on their plate. And so that's contributing to the tiredness, the brain fog, and all of that. So that could also be another point of difference for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And especially in these sort of, isolated areas, it's the added driving that you're doing. Like all I do sometimes feel like I'm driving. I'm just taxing all my kids everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you understand what it's like, and it's so nice when we go, she understands. She's not going to ask me to, make these really difficult meals that's meant for people who are living by themselves or something. She understands what it's like with a young family and all that. So that could be a part of your marketing message. And so I want to come back and chat about the flow then. So what we need to do right now is focus on how can we get more traffic to your page. So you've got your Instagram page. You said that you get a lot of word of mouth referrals and you're collaborating with people. So what we're doing here is we're tapping into other people's audiences. So you want to think about how can I have them come across to join my email list and follow my Instagram page, right? So your email list, so that will be something helpful to build. You want to focus on a lead magnet. I would say in your next 90-day plan, focus on building a lead magnet that you can then offer when you go to networking events, or if you're running a seminar, flash that up so people can go download it, ask for their email address in return, and they can go download it. So you're growing your email list as a result of the collaborations you're doing. Just because sometimes they don't know you yet, and it can take a bit more time for them to convert. So that's a great way for you to nurture them and keep them in your world until they're ready, then they'll come across.
Definitely. And I think, unfortunately, I do have a lead magnet at this stage, but it's, dare I say, it is outdated, and I need to, it's been on the, it is, I guess speaking with you, Charlyn, I now have to, get in and rejig it and actually just start again. Like, because as a practitioner and in whatever fields that we're working in, we are always changing, the science is changing, protocols are changing. So in saying that, so should sort of the stuff that we're giving out for free, to engage new clients needs to be updated as well.
So if I'm going to put you on the spot now, Anna, so if I were to ask you, with the lead magnet, what is the biggest problem that your ideal clients are looking to solve? Something that we can go, hey, here's a little resource to get you started. And the point here is working out something that is a Kickstarter for them. It's not going to solve all their problems. So what's one big problem that's frustrating that you can help them to get started with?
I guess my new lead magnet, would have to say optimize. The word optimize is it's a big word. So healthy aging, longevity, optimized by nutrition would be probably the focus, and then giving them ideas of how to possibly balance their plate to ensure that they're getting the right nutrients on their plate to optimize their health, their cognitive health, and their overall metabolic health. Giving them the indications of perhaps what metabolic dysfunction can lead to if things aren't addressed.
Look, the thing is, lead magnet, picking the right topic and picking the right issue to solve is a very challenging thing. And that's why I wanted to talk this through with you before we finish up today. It is one of the hardest things that we help our clients work through in the beginning, just because, we've got all these things. We're like, okay, in order to fix this, we're going to work on the gut, we're going to work on this and that. And then it becomes a really big resource, 60-page resource or something. But that's your program, right? So we need to think about, okay, what's one problem that we can pick? So if they are going through their day-to-day, they're feeling tired all the time, they're sluggish and they're bloated, what's one thing or two things that we can give them to act on that will help them see improvements relatively quick? So if we're doing like epigenetics thing, that's obviously very long term. So
we put that in the background, like really we just probably want to focus from what they can do now. What can they do now? Like what have they got in their pantry? Pantry overhaul is the first thing, like pantry overhaul, having the right nutrient, like what can they put on their plate, help improve and optimize their health, and possibly giving them six ideas or six nutrients that, could be really valuable for healthy aging.
Is that going to help them see results quick or help them achieve a quick win going, yep, I've done something, it makes me feel good?
Well, I guess that's more of a resource for them in that sense. Is it going to help them achieve results? I'm hoping that it would, in the ideal world, they would go, well, I'm not going to reach for something else, perhaps having perhaps a piece of cake or a biscuit or something like that. So getting them to focus on how, I guess going back to how to build a plate and the importance of that so that they can feel fuller for longer. They've got the right nutrients to support them so that they're not going to have the brain fog. They're not going to have that 3 p.m. sluggish dip that we all, hear about and, see clients having. And they're not, their blood sugar is not all over the show and they're not wired at sort of 9 o'clock at night because they're totally dysregulated. So I guess, narrowing my ebook, like my free resource down, I'm still giving them a whole program. I can see what's happening again. I'm a giver. I guess I'm a giver. I'm like a feeder. I have to put nutrition in breast.
And that's why nutrition's never that simple, it's
not,
like a whole picture thing. And so like I want you to see this as like you're building a puzzle. So you have the big picture in mind and you're finding the pieces one by one. So right now for your resource, your freebie, we're looking for the corners that will build the cornerstone of it. So you talked about that 3 p.m., sluggishness, they're reaching for something. And maybe that is somewhere that we could put a focus on for this resource, right? So it's one of the things, having the right snacks. If you're reaching for something high sugar, instead of that, here are some ideas. So you could have a snack list. Or the other idea for your cornerstone is building a healthy plate so that you're not getting all these crashes, having enough protein and stuff. But the issue with that is, it can still be a really good resource. You just need to control how much you give away. So you can share what goes into a plate. You need to balance the protein and fiber and stuff. But we can't exactly tell them how much protein they need because everyone is very different. So here's where you need to then help them understand that we need to work together with you to work out how much protein you need in a day, how many meals to have, and also create a plan that's personalized to your lifestyle. So you kind of have to draw the line there. And then as a next step thing, go, this is what I cover in my program. Here's how I can help you. Here's the link to book a discovery call to learn more. So that is where, you can still give value, but just not too much. The snack list, very quick and easy to put together.
Yeah, you're having that 3 p.m., that 3 p.m. fallout, like your energy's just dipped. Here is grab my 10 snack ideas, to help support you. Just got to reel me back in, Charlene. I get a bit out of.
But that's my job. That's what I do with clients all the time. I can just hear all your ideas flowing, which is amazing, by the way, and it's good that you're so excited and so passionate about it. Sometimes we just need to step back or even for me to look from the outside to go, you're giving too much. That's meant for your program. We need to pull something apart. That will solve an immediate problem for them. And they'll go, oh yeah, I already feel better. By having the snack that Anna recommended, I don't feel the need to go have an ice cream or something at the end of the night to reward myself because I've been trying so hard and I just want something to finish my day. And that itself will already give them an aha moment, a win, going, I already feel better. And it's just such a small thing that you've helped them change. It's obviously just one corner of your puzzle, and then now you got to fill out the rest. And that's where, invite them to come into your program, share with them how you can help them, and then tell them, here's what we need to do, these testings to work out what's wrong with you, what's causing all these, sluggishness and stuff, the root causes. And that's the stuff that they don't know about at the beginning. So we don't really want to overwhelm them with the science and all of that. Just meet them where they are. And then when they have that awareness, they're at the stage of change, that's then when you invite them to take the next step and share with them how you can help. So it becomes a very natural flow from your lead magnet to making the offer, to getting on the discovery call. By that time, they're on the call, they already know who you are. They know they need your help and they resonate or relate to what you say. And then it's an easier yes than trying to convert someone who's not even your ideal client on a call.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I guess, that's where that sort of lovely, email marketing comes in after, they've downloaded that, free resource, and then we can go on and explore the next thing to understand why they need to come and see me and, to achieve that sort of, in longevity, optimal health moving forward from, whatever sort of role that may look like.
All right. So Anna, we've talked about a lot today. So let's finish up with your Let's finish up with your 90-day action plan. So tell me, what are the two big things that you're going to focus on for the next 90 days?
I think realistically, the next 90 days is I'm going to take a deep dive into relaunching my lead magnet so that, I can feel those pain points, narrow down that real ideal client and, really illustrating her pain points so that I can build this lead magnet. And it shouldn't take too long, like I'll just put it together in a sense, and hopefully just start getting it out there, getting in front of the camera. Don't let that imposter syndrome sort of come in, and just, tell people that it's new. If you haven't had it already, or if you've been following me for a while, then jump in and, check it out. And I think I know I need to story tell more in that sense. The odd post, you can get lost. There's so much out there. So yeah, just really focusing on marketing that so that I can start to build that lovely relationship with these possible potential new clients.
So lead magnet. And then what was the second thing?
Lead magnet was, so the second thing was then I would build my email flow. So, they've downloaded the email magnet or their lead magnet, email magnet, sorry. Lead magnet, and then probably I'm not sure on this because would you have like 3 or 4 email flows afterwards? I guess that's something that I'd have to refine a little bit, so that I can start building this conversation with them in the background, that they start hearing from me from a regular basis, like, if every once a week, that flow would be already set up in that sense. So once it's been downloaded, then, setting it up in my, in my website, that sort of thing. So that would be the focus. Yeah. And then obviously the second thing would be, getting out, speaking more on stories, building that confidence in myself. Don't let that imposter syndrome sink in, and just tell them that this is what I do. This is your free resource. Go out and check it out, and, go from there. That would be my objective as the second part.
So first thing is building out that pipeline, that funnel there, with starting with a lead magnet. And then the second part to this is showing up as yourself through storytelling. You start to build connection with your audience, and then funneling people through from your social media. And social media is kind of the front door of your business. It's not your business. So we need to say hello to the right people and invite them into your shop. So that's kind of where that relationship building and your email marketing comes in. I actually have a new course that I created just not long ago. We just launched it. It's called the Client Funnel Starter Kit. So it's helped you to set up that lead magnet, that email sequence, and all the tech and automation.
I think I need that.
Part of it. I'll send that to you, Anna, so you can check out, and I'll link it in the show notes for our listeners as well. And you would see me talking about this funnel thing a lot in email marketing over the last year and a half, because social media is not as reliable anymore. It's still an important part because it's the front door to your shop. But we need to think about where we take people, guiding them off the platform to work with you and get into your world. So it's a list that you own. It's not owned by Mark Zuckerberg, and that will keep your business safe. Yeah. So Anna, these two things are out in the world now. So everyone who's listening to this podcast is going to be holding you accountable. So the world check back in with me. Yeah. That's the whole point, right? Like sometimes we just have to put it out there and commit to it to take action. So this is what this is all about. And we all want to see each other, you succeed as well. So, just do your very best. We're getting to the end of the year, so it can get busy. So try and work out a timeline for how you want to make this happen. Like in the next month, you want to get your lead magnet done. And with the Client Funnel Starter Kit, we teach you to get it done in a weekend, because so many people spend too much time tweaking the design and stuff. So we give you all the prompts, and especially for ChatGPT. So you put it in there, run it through, and then it churns out the content for you, still with your own flavor. So I'll send that to you later. But thank you so much, Anna, for your time. I appreciate you coming on to this podcast and just being so genuine and open with sharing the challenges that you're facing in your business. A lot of the things that you talk about is a very common challenge for business owners, just trying to juggle it all and knowing where to put your focus on. So I appreciate you for letting me kind of break it down for you and being
putting me in the hot seat for sure. It really was.
Yeah.
I know if I would have signed
With that
up again.
laser focus. So hopefully, you'll be able to take these strategies away and just commit to taking action in the next 90 days. So thank you so much once again for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.